Good morning. So I've been reviewing a lot of cars, right? I always review a lot of cars. Okay, not the most lah, but every time I drive an EV and then I talk about how much I like them, and a lot of people just say they like to say things like, "Oh, since you like them so much, why haven't I seen you buy them?" Right? Since you say it's so good, why haven't I seen you? Why aren't you driving one or own one yourself? See, the thing is this: a lot of people cannot. The biggest difference, right, between people like us who review things or review cars for that matter versus most of the common people who are car owners, right? After all these years, I've been reviewing cars since 2008, and it's 17 years now. Wow. And another 3 years I'll be 20 years in the business. So one thing that I observe, right, which I think, personal opinion, marks the biggest difference between people like us and some of our viewers, right, is that a lot of people cannot separate between good or bad and dislike. And then there's another level. This one requires another level, which is, will I buy or not? Right? So how do I dissect this? Okay, so when we are objectively reviewing something, that means we test that car, because we test so many cars, right? And then we have a more informed opinion. Is that an opinion? No, we have a more informed fact-finding process that is a culmination of comparison of various between similar segments. You see, comparison between similar segments or similar price points is already another deeper dissection of something. Say, for example, when I'm driving a sports car and then I say the handling isn't that good, and then when when we are reviewing let's say an SUV, and then we say, wow, this car handles great, and then there will be people who comment, wow, the day you drive a sports car and then you say the handling is not good, and then now you drive an SUV, you say the handling is good. So are you implying that the SUV corners better than the sports car? See, these are the dilemmas that we're facing. A lot of people can't differentiate that. So when we give our objective conclusion, it is based on what it is within that segment, within that price point, right? And hence we form a conclusion, because that is the best way, because you cannot put everything on the same. It's like Doug DeMuro's is there a cool score for Doug DeMuro, right? There'll be all kinds of cars on the same thing. I mean, you just can't compare things that way, right? You can't be driving a supercar and then you give a score on the handling, and then on the same chart you have another passenger car and then they also get a score on the handling. It doesn't make sense. So that's one thing. And then another thing is, we are able to say something is good or bad regardless of whether we ourselves, regardless of whether me myself like or dislike that car. And then I can like or dislike a car doesn't mean I have to buy or don't buy a car. Most people jumble up these three things together. Good or bad? Good equals like. Bad equals dislike. And then good equals like equals buy. Bad equals dislike equals shouldn't buy. So I just want to make this point across so that when you guys view or digest reviews, you are better informed for yourself to make a decision. You know, because people just mix things up. They mix it up. I'll give you an example. That girl is beautiful, but doesn't mean I like. And I like doesn't mean I want to marry her. Right? Now you get a more clear-cut differentiation, right? So, say for example, my own cars, right? I can say so many bad things about them. There are so many things that are bad. Like say for example, this BMW 640i, right? The leather here, the cheapest of quality. Why? Because they have a 650i that uses Napa, or they have a 640i that is of a higher spec, higher specification, with Harman Kardon sound systems. That one you can have Napa leather over here. This is like the cheapest, roughest leather, the same leather that you get in F33 series when you buy the car. Alright, the seats are better, the leather on the seats are better, but the leather here is horrible. You know, is touching plastic feels better. Right? And then the plastic quality of this car, horrible. They use bad, lousy plastics. They crack over time, right? My seatbelt holder mounted into the seats, at the back seats, they have the holes where the seatbelt comes out, and then there's a plastic that is cupped onto the seat itself. Not only BMW use very cheap plastics that crack over time. I've replaced them twice. Not expensive, but I'm willing to pay for more expensive ones just so they don't crack. Now, even if they don't crack, it is a bad design. The clipping mechanism that they designed on this car is so bad. That means even if the plastics don't crack, the thing will pop out by itself over time, right? In an Audi, you will never have this issue. Audi uses some of the best quality plastics, right? You won't have this issue. But in BMWs of this generation, there are so many bad things about them, right? But do I love this car? Yes, I do. And I do not just only love it, I want to own it. I want to buy it. Why? Buying has a combination of multiple factors. You can like something without logical senses, right? But buying or not buying, a lot of logical things come into play. For example, my usage scenario. I wanted to be able to bring my family along with me to open the top. Hence, this became a very logical choice. Like during our Monday live shows, we always ask that person, how old are you? What are you doing? Or we guess, right? What is the purpose for? And then we try to dissect it for them. We don't just immediately go for a car that we personally like and then tell people don't pursue something that we personally don't like, right? It has, whether we like or don't like that car has no bearing on whether that car is good or bad. Understand? So that's why, I mean, like my other cars, right? I mean, I can point out so many things that I don't like about that particular car, or not I don't like, or I mix that up, okay, that are bad about that particular car, or things that I would complain about. That SUV blocked traffic light. It was green, and then when the car cut into my lane, so I cannot continue driving, when he passed, it's yellow and then red. So I'm now sticking out like a sore thumb. The two other lanes are supposed to turn right to PJ. My lane is supposed to keep left to Subang. And I would have been able to go straight, but that car cut over when the yellow box is filled up. So now I suddenly anyway, so hope you understand that, okay? And there are instances whereby some people ask us, oh, should I buy this car? And then we ask them, what do you currently own? How long have you owned it? I remember one guy saying that his Honda Civic he bought in 2021, you know, he wanted to change his car, you know, Ichibat. And then the car he suggested doesn't reflect that he suddenly is in a much higher income level. It doesn't reflect that. He was asking about some used Mercedes-Benz or something. So his Civic is about 140,000. That used Mercedes-Benz is about 170 or 180,000, something like that. So we told him, you might not want to change your car now because your Honda Civic is still working pretty fine. It's only a 4-year-old car, right? Probably you still have a loan with that car. It's just that you got bored of that car, all right? And then it's not like you suddenly hit a jackpot or suddenly got promoted from senior exec to director of don't know which division, and then your income went from 8,000 ringgit to 28,000 ringgit. No, it's not that case. So we suggested to him, don't. Because first thing you will realize that you may have think that you are upgrading from a Honda Civic to a Mercedes-Benz, right? The logo tells you you are upgraded. You have upgraded. Your friends, your family would have think that you have upgraded. But in actual terms, the Mercedes-Benz will be smaller inside. The C-Class is tighter inside than the Honda Civic, alright? Yes, I know Honda Civic rear seats are not that comfortable, but it is a smaller car in every measure, right? Second thing, power-wise, your C200 isn't that much more powerful than a Honda Civic. I'm not sure about the figures, but BMW 3.1, is it called the 316 back then? And then they call it 318 later. The 1.5 liter turbo, that is a much weaker engine than that of the Honda Civic's 1.5 turbo, right? So we try to dissect all this to them and talk them out of it, because I told him, if you paid off your Honda Civic because of this good resale value, you would have had a huge chunk of cash with you in your Honda Civic the moment you pay off. Now the moment you pay off your Honda Civic, you immediately sell the car, okay, deposit the money, that money that you take back from selling your Honda Civic immediately after you paid it off. Okay lah, if you paid it off by May, you don't have to sell it immediately because by October it would have roughly been the same value when people buy back your car. If the mileage isn't too crazy, right, then you can still use it for a while and then you observe around. But the thing is to not cross into the next year, which your resale value will go down a little bit more, and then you lose that money, right? Because it is already a cash asset. So if you sell it, do you dump the money into the next car? Provided it's a very expensive car or it's a two-door coupe or something where the bank requires you 30% down payment and all that. If it doesn't, right, we will suggest people to just bank in the money into your bank, assuming he's like a normal person. All right, some people with a Honda Civic having 300, 500,000 savings in the bank, that's another question, right? Or having $1 million ringgit in the bank, that's totally another question. We're talking about normal people who progress up the hierarchy, who had your first job, your second job, and then you get promoted, so on and so forth. All right. So for those instances, bank in your money, save the money. You could have been a property down payment or something, and then you buy another car with a good resale value, and then you slowly collect that way. You know, that's how we give our advices. Now, coming coming back to electric cars, I say I love them. Yes, I absolutely love electric cars. All right, because of the usage of it. Now, a lot of people ask about, oh, what about, see, beautiful Taycan, beautiful BYD Seal. Now, a lot of people ask about, oh, what about 9 years later, 10 years later? Now, this you have to come back and reflect upon yourself, your past two cars, your daily usage. How do you use your cars? Now, I buy this car, this 640i convertible, 10 years ago. I bought it 10 years ago. Now, do I have any urge to sell the car? None. 2 years ago, someone offered me 200,000 for this car. I bought it at 250,000. 2 years ago, someone offered me 200,000. I rejected. Am I deeply in love with this car? No. Do I love it? Yes. Do I like it? Yes. Is it the best car in the world? No. So why do I not sell it? Simple. Because if I sell the car, I can't think of anything that I can get back for around the same money. There's none that is, for my own usage, comparable. Because I'm very clear with the market. I know what car costs what, you know. So, do I have the itch? No. Right? I've owned it for 10 years. Now, come back to that question of asking me about electric cars. Oh, what about 10 years later, 8 years later? First thing you need to ask, what kind of car is it? And what kind of usage do you employ it? Is it an enthusiast car like this one? Is it something that is not your main car? And the purpose you approach the car, what is it for? Right? If you are someone who use Honda Cities, 4-door, you can fetch your colleagues, go to lunch and all that, bring your family around, and then you upgrade to a Honda Accord or Honda Civic, that type, I can say that you are not the type of person that will keep a car for 10 years and you still want to drive it and you still like it, you still want to take care of it. You are not. Now, for this type of people, an EV is perfect for you. You get what I mean? Because you are not the type of person who is looking for a car that you use the car's purpose is for this purpose. It is not. You don't keep your car for 10 years. You don't even keep your car for 8 years. Right? You use them and then you sell them off and then you look at some other things. Then an EV is perfect for you. Right? For people like me who I got so... I mean, there's a video where I said that I love the Lotus Electra, you know. But after a while, I still love the car. But after a while, seeing so many new EVs coming out, and also noticing, oh, Audi RS6, also noticing all the new stuffs that came out, right? I know for a fact that immediately the newer ones that arrived from China would have made that car feel so old. Yeah, that's the difference. So that's why I'm waiting. I want an EV. I would love to have an EV, and I'm not afraid to buy a used EV. And I would want an EV that is originally designed for 500-600 horsepower, 500-600 range. And over the years, after it depreciated, after it got older, the range deteriorated. Basically, the battery capacity deteriorated, and I can buy it for a very cheap price. Why? Because I'm not gonna use my EV to drive all the way to Hat Yai to go enduro. I won't, right? I just need it for daily usage, right? But I want the larger electric motor. I want that power that it is able to employ. I want all that, and I don't need the range. I'm very clear with what I need. Hence, so I hope people watching this video can have a much better understanding about liking or disliking has no bearing on good or bad. Okay? I hope that clears things up. And now I'm in an area that is so difficult to park. And people tend to double park, triple park. Let's look for a parking. Cheers.